Rob squared.
Who? Me?
Robert
Me?
squared.
You? Me? Me? You?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hot take day.
Oh, hot, 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 hot,
About time. About time.
We're getting hot.
hot, hot, hot,
Spicy.
hot,
Awful.
hot,
Hot.
hot,
We're gonna go position by position,
Alright.
and I'll start off naturally with quarterback. And
is
some are
the
spicier
position, yeah.
than others.
Quarterback is the position.
This one's more of a diarrhea take.
Oh,
Some people might think, yeah, it's gonna sting.
Spit it whole in. You're not trusting this part.
Yeah, you're not.
Not
So it has to do with my boy Russell Wilson.
Oh, hot, 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 hot.
All right.
Who is criminally underrated right now.
So you think he's gonna cook, huh?
Oh, he's already in the oven, man.
Whew.
Uh,
Preheating oven.
Yeah, it's to 500 degrees.
Preheat the oven to 2021. You put Russ
Here
in.
we go.
This is what you're gonna
Boom,
get.
boom, boom. So it's Russell Wilson finishes as the #1 quarterback.
All right. Yeah.
And that's, how my love for Mahomes. Your love for Kyler, my love for Kyler.
Yeah, he has to pass two mountains there.
Well, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and the other one that's the, Lamar Jackson with an arm.
Well, I agree. I thought you were saying that Russ is one of the better.
Oh, he
I
is, for
think
sure.
so, yeah.
People
One of the better.
don't think of him as that, though, apparently.
I think
he's boring.
He's a talented Diamond McNabb.
Mhm.
In my mind, yeah.
Steady. Like, with
Talented,
longevity.
yeah. Well,
So-
McNabb was good, but yeah. Anyways, yeah.
I put in parentheses here, my projections was 50 passing touchdowns and 5 rushing touchdowns, which would be hard to beat for anyone. You know what I mean? Because Mahomes isn't going to have 5 rushing touchdowns.
No.
And you may think those are big numbers, right?
Sound pretty big, yeah.
Sounds very big. I mean,
at least 30 or 40 Kurgs, I think.
Very big. And I got to these numbers when I was looking at his year last year.
All right.
And I think he burned a lot of people that had him. Like, I know people that had him that were pissed about it. He threw 40 touchdowns last year. Hell of a year. I think he probably finished his quarterback 3.
Sure.
Very good.
Yeah.
But it was a tale of 2 halves.
Yeah.
First half on fire. Second half, not so much.
No.
Now, that was a combination of the O-line breaking down, teams adjusting to DK Metcalf, schedule, right? They had to play the Rams twice. Like, there was just a lot of factors.
Sure.
So what I did was I went through in his first 8 games when he was on fire, right? When he was a front runner for MVP, they were fucking 6-2.
Yeah.
So I doubled his numbers. Now it's a 17-game season, but we're just going to go for 16. Doubling his numbers, which isn't like a 3-game sample size. It's 8 games. This is what would have been: 5,042 passing yards, 56 touchdowns, 530 rushing yards, and only 2 rushing touchdowns because he only had 1 somehow in the first half.
Yeah, well, the way when you're throwing that well, I mean.
There you go. 56 touchdowns. He had 28 in the first 8 games.
You think that's fair?
12 the
though?
second.
Do you really think that's fair to pick like the best half of football that almost anyone's ever played?
No, and this is why it's a hot take.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm predicting it to happen. I think it has a 25% chance or better.
Fair enough. Yeah.
My main point is that why is he going as quarterback 7? Like,
I think it has to be the lackadaisical
sour
second
taste.
half.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because they didn't make the playoffs either, did they?
No, they did. They lost to the Rams.
Oh, they won like 9 or 10 games. You're right.
Yeah, they lost to the Rams because the Rams, they beat them. I think the Rams were 3-0 against them last year. Something about Aaron Donald and, the O-line broke down.
Okay.
But there's also a couple other factors looking at
you're right.
more of how I feel like it's going to happen. Okay? Now, earlier we covered this on another pod, was their offensive line, and I couldn't give you any names. They did add Gabe Jackson. Okay? Big old boy from the Raiders.
Yeah.
This dude's 6'3", 340. He's a left guard. So he's more of a run blocker, but he's just a big guy, proven, has missed 1 game in his career. I like that. He's only 30 years old. And he didn't allow a sack last year.
Get some stability on that line.
So, and they already have an awesome left tackle. Add him. That was their weak spot. I feel like it's going to be a little bit of an improvement. We don't need much. I just need what they did in the first 8 games, right?
Yeah.
Which was before they got a little banged up and 4 teams kind of schemed against them.
So how did Russ obviously he had 25? It sounds like he had 27 touchdowns in the first
28 in the first 8 and then 12 in the second 8. Rough.
Yeah. So what happens if his second half doubles?
Then apparently he's just done.
Apparently it's not a hot take
Oh,
anymore.
That's 30 or 40 Keurig.
No. I here's the thing is, I think you and I both. I know you and I both agree. I'm sure most people do. Is Russ is talent wise. When you watch the guy, when you watch him,
the best deep ball there is.
I don't think his stats.
Row.
To your defense, or to the defense of that point, the hot take, I think when you watch Russ, his stats oftentimes don't do him justice. Because he could finish the game with 2 touchdowns and 250 yards, and it could be a very mediocre game.
Yeah.
But that could be in the NFC Championship where he comes back and throws 2 touchdowns and
makes winning plays.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
And also has games where he throws 5 touchdowns.
He doesn't make mistakes, so they're always in contention, and he's going to be able to be in a position to make those plays at the end to win those games. So.
And then there's just a couple other things. They got rid of David Moore, who I was never a fan of. Like somehow he'd have some nice games.
Okay.
They brought in Dwayne Eskridge, a rookie.
Yeah.
They traded up to get him, and they did not have a lot of draft capital. They had like 4 or 5 picks.
Traded up to him.
So, and this guy's a burner, right?
Yeah.
I don't expect big things from him this year in fantasy, but he's another Tyler Lockett type that can go deep.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to spread the field, and they're not going to be able to double team DK or do shadow coverage.
Sure.
Safety over the top.
Yeah.
Just opens up their offense a bit.
Okay.
So just all those things together just tell me Russell Wilson for one is going underdrafted, 100%.
I think so.
Like he should not be going closer to Justin Herbert and ADP than Patrick Mahomes. Like, what are we talking about? Like, this is a Hall of Famer, only throws 35 touchdown passes, has never missed a game in his career. Like, just never. He's just not going to. I mean, maybe that can change, but he's one of the best sliders in the league, so he doesn't get hit.
Baseball player.
They protect him because he's a marquee player.
He's the player.
Just all those things.
Yeah.
So that's my Russell Wilson take.
I like it.
It's quite hot.
Now that I think about it a little bit more before we move on to the next one, I'm hesitant to disagree because I also in my Superflex I showed you the FFPC a month or 2 ago. My very first pick overall, I was on the turn, 12th pick. My very first pick was a Russ. I went Russ Burrow, and so I definitely see the potential. I'm curious, who else do you have though? All right, let's see.
This is a kind of a double-edged sword here. It's Matt Stafford finishes ahead of Josh Allen. And this is in a 6 for a passing touchdown league. In 4, I'm going to give the nod to Josh because he gets those rushing touchdowns, and Stafford isn't going to rush and isn't going to have more than 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And right now Stafford's going quarterback 11, quarterback 12. Josh Allen's going fucking quarterback 3. And,
Do you think that's more of a product of Josh Allen being overrated or Stafford being underrated? Both. Do you think? What do you think it leans more towards?
Mine is more of trusting Sean McVay.
Yeah.
And I see Josh Allen. His season was remarkable.
Phenomenal.
Okay. His lead, he's only improved every year as a passer.
No arguing that.
Right.
Stats are stats.
But Cam Newton also did the same thing. And Cam Newton had that MVP year where everything broke right.
Sure.
He became one of the best deep passers in the league for that year. 35 touchdowns, throwing to scrubs.
Yeah, I think his rushing ability contributed to that, yeah.
Since that year and before that year, Cam Newton is not a young player anymore.
No. Has
never thrown for more than 23 touchdowns. Yeah. Now, Josh Allen's clearly have more arm talent than Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And his accuracy's improved. There's the couple of concerns are he was just had so much confidence last year. And, getting digs, everything clicked. Okay? Sure. And it could happen again, but it's not as likely to happen. His touchdown rate was it was like 7.8%, man.
Yeah.
Like, Aaron Rodgers was 9.1%, his career is 6%. Guys always regress to the means.
Yeah, how many of those deep balls that he throws 30 yards to Cole Beasley are in connect?
Yeah.
Not 4 or 5 like last year.
And the other big concern is he plays in Buffalo. The weather. I know people don't talk about this. I've talked to you about this.
A little bit, yeah.
When I look at players I want to draft, like part of it, 10% of it is going through looking at their schedule, and I expect to make the playoffs in every league, as do you. I want to look at who they're playing in those games.
Sure.
And usually it's opponent, but that's harder to predict because teams look much different week 1 than they do in the preseason. Not to mention week 14, 15, 16.
I agree with you on this point.
This is a deep one. This has to do with weather.
I agree with you on this.
His 3 games at home. Now it's at home. The 2 games at home are Atlanta and Carolina, which are what we think will be good matchups for him.
Yeah.
But at home in Buffalo in December.
It does.
At home in Buffalo in December, and the road game is at New England.
2 inches of snow on the ground. It's not a good.
One of those
matchup
3
anymore.
games is going to be a shit
Zach
show
Moss.
of weather.
Zach
And
Moss game.
Josh Allen, I look back at his numbers and his bad weather games. I recall one in like week 8 was actually in Kansas City. It was a rain game.
Yeah.
That was Clyde's game where he had like 29 carries.
Okay.
They lost like 24-10. Dude, he had 154 yards and like 1 touchdown. And there was 2 other ones late in the year where it was always like 180 and 1.
Really?
Those good games were all like 4 touchdowns.
But that
right?
basement is.
And it's not a reflection on him. It's just he's not Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, these dudes, Mahomes. They kill it in any weather.
So it is a reflection on him.
Well, he's just not there yet.
Well, how many other quarterbacks have 180 basements? Yards.
Do you remember the Tennessee Titans Green Bay game, like towards the end of the year last year in the fantasy playoffs, where Tennessee got destroyed? And that was the A.J. Dillon game where Aaron Jones was hurt. And
okay, yeah,
Ryan Tannehill looked so pedestrian, dude.
Yeah.
Like, cause I had A.J. Brown going, and he like ended up having like 4 for 50.
Yeah.
But he had like no catches with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. It was just rough. They were losing 24-3. Aaron Rodgers had 3 touchdowns, 280 yards. Like, Tannehill saved his day with like a late touchdown.
Sure.
But like certain guys just aren't, the same in weather. And he's kind of a sloppier quarterback. He can't move as well in that weather. That's just my concern. And Matt Stafford plays in a dome. So
at least half his games.
it's just I like Josh Allen.
Well,
He's my where do you have Josh Allen ranked roughly?
So I think he's very overvalued at the second quarterback.
It's 2 or 3, yeah.
I'm seeing 2 most of the time.
2, 3, or 4 depending on either way.
I'm rarely seeing Kyler go over him. I might see Lamar. Go over him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm confident in saying that Allen will be a top 10 quarterback.
Oh yeah.
I think he'll be closer to top 10, or excuse me, he'll be closer to the 10 number than the number 1. I think more likely he's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10 than he will be in the top 4.
Like I have him after Aaron Rodgers as number 7.
But with quarterbacks, that's a big difference from the top 3 to the bottom 3. Just in the top 10, called the top 12.
It's just you're drafting him at his ceiling.
I think
I love the rushing. I love the rushing floor, dude.
That's a good way to encapsulate.
If you can tell me I can get Matt Stafford in the 9th or 10th, and this is a 6 for a passing touchdown league, which kind of like nullifies the rushing, or Josh Allen in the 4th, I'll just take Stafford because he's going to throw 30 touchdowns. He's going to have 4,500 yards. He's going to be a top 12 quarterback. Yeah. And I feel like Josh Allen will too, but like it's value, right? Like who can I get in the 4th round at receiver?
True. Yeah.
And who can I get in the 10th round at receiver?
And I think that's a good point. Just in general, is if I'm coming across the same problem right now because we're drafting one of our home leagues or pretty soon here. But at least we have the order already. I'm doing a lot of mock drafts, and I'm having difficulty drafting any receivers in like the 5th, 6th round. Even though the way I'm doing mock drafts right now, I'm drafting running back, potentially tight end, quarterback. You'll have to see. When it's time for me to take my first receiver in that 5th round area, I'm just like, 5th, 6th round, I'm still not confident. So, because I believe those guys are going to be just as valuable as the guys I can take in the 8th round. So to your point, is I see the value in the guys later. So
Tyler Lockett's an example of a guy in the 5th round, right?
Yeah,
I think
8th round, Cooper Kupp, but to me, I think like Jerry Jeudy, Claypool, I can go on.
Cole Hardman,
Hardman's
a little later, but
I see guys that have as much potential as
I have to bring up Hardman every episode.
Yeah, I
sorry.
Okay,
give me one of your hot takes there, buddy.
Well, Brad, we're almost done, dude.
He's doing something inappropriate over there. I mean,
put it away.
He's allowed to. He's a celebrity.
Zip it back up.
Anyways. Yeah, we tried to blur it out for you in the first episode, and he got super pissed about that. He doesn't like to be censored. Well, it can't censor Brad.
Right. Honestly, it's kind of a decent segue because if we're talking about sexual harassment, my guy is Winston.
Crab legs and sexual harassment. Great combo.
But
looking at his fingers from the sexual harassment or from the crab legs? They have a similar taste.
Well, he goes.
Oh shit!
The massage parlor he goes to is cherry flavored.
Him and Robert Kraft, dude, just hanging out in the massage parlor.
Yeah.
And Deshaun Watson, but that we'll try to avoid that one because that gets dark. I don't know if you heard the recent report about what he liked. Did you hear this?
Yeah.
he wants fingers in his butt. Okay,
Yeah.
and a lot of guys do, but we just don't like to say it. He's saying this is strangers.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I do. Okay, can we cut that?
Nope.
Just kidding.
Nope. That's gonna be that's the intro. Now.
Oh,
You're
God
fucked.
damn it. You son of a bitch.
I know some guys like fingers in their butt.
You will always spin it to make me look like a weirdo, which I'm fine with, man. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna.
can I just have your fucking hot
I'm
take?
gonna build you a nice little pogo stick. It's like
Fuck you. The dildo bike? Matt's dildo bike?
Yeah.
What? It's an awesome workout bike. What's the big deal? Okay. Mac, why don't you go ahead and operate the bike? Yeah, sure. Problem, just like any other workout bike. Well, the pedals.
There you go.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, it's just the craziest.
Okay, all right. I know what you're thinking, okay, but it is not what it looks like.
Yeah, what it looks like is that you are fucking yourself with a dildo bike.
I mean, you got the bike shorts with the slits in them and the.
Oh, the ones in the back. That's for airflow.
This is grotesque.
No, you're not understanding. I modded out a regular workout bike to create the optimal workout.
And added a penis.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see where you guys are getting off the rails. That's not a penis.
Oh.
It's a fist.
It's a little bigger than
Every
a
time
finger.
you want to sit down because you're tired, it's
The slogan is "Keep on pumping." Give me your hot take, please.
So it's Winston, man.
I threw you off a little bit, didn't I?
Well, you're not going to distract me from drafting him if I need to. So Winston to me is a guy that obviously my target early. It has to be an affordable price, but it would be Kyler. And then as I trickle down, maybe 4 or 5 rounds later, if I miss on Burrow, so I have guys before Winston, but to me Winston is I would consider him a dark horse for MVP. Honestly,
With that receiving core?
with Sean, well, that's I think. I mean, how many MVPs did Brady win without receivers? I'm not saying that Winston's Brady, but my point is with the right coach and the right system, with enough confidence, a quarterback that has elite talent Sean Payton is known as a phenomenal offensive coach, a creative offensive coach.
Same argument with Stafford with McVay, right?
Winston got the LASIK.
He did.
He got
Years ago.
him.
Yeah.
Trimmed up his eyes a little bit. I mean, they're looking slim. He's not the best runner. He's not the best at taking the hits.
That was rough. He tried to do a spin move.
You know,
Yeah.
so Brady might get those QB. He still has the QB sneaks on him, but Winston has a better arm. He's more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Between the eyes, Brady's better, obviously, but this is not a comparison between the two. The comparison is Winston versus anyone else on the Saints roster. With a phenomenal coach, a team that's won the division 3 out of the last 4 years or something like that, still has a good amount of offensive pieces around him. I know Michael Thomas is hurt, but Winston has already thrown 30 touchdowns. He's already thrown for 5,000 yards.
And 30 picks.
He's already been Rookie of the Year, I believe. So there's the pedigree's there.
Mhm.
He's a blue chip.
Number 1 overall pick.
He's
How old is he? 28 years old, 29? He's not old.
27 maybe.
Yeah.
Like he was drafted in.
Same year as Mariota.
He was drafted in 15, I believe.
Okay,
15
yeah.
or 16.
Okay.
So
I think it was 14,
So-
but either way.
let's call it 15. So we'll call it 6 years. And
Yeah.
he was drafted when he was 21 years old. He's 27 years old.
All right.
Let's call it
That's
27.
crazy. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, he reminds me of Tannehill, but more talented. He was in a bad system, and he got out of that. He released himself for that opportunity. Now he's going to a team that is established. You know, too many things have to go wrong for it not to work for him. I mean, he's already proved that he can do it. Now he has a good coaching staff. He has Kamara. I know
Playing in a dome.
that helps.
Yeah. Can I just give you a couple counterpoints and just see how you
Please.
feel about these?
Yeah, I'm curious. Please talk me out of it so I don't draft
Yeah,
Winston.
well, let's just hope he gets arrested before the season. Then when you get Taysom Hill, and we'll draft him top 11 because, Anywho's, my concern is Taysom Hill stealing his goal line work,
Okay.
gadget plays, etc. And then my other concern is, with Michael Thomas healthy this year, hungry, before the injury, I like it more. Taking Michael Thomas out of that offense, I love Traquan Smith, but he's not a number 1. He's not even a number 2.
I agree.
And then they have Marquez Callaway. they have a bunch of just nobodies, man. And Adam
We know
Troutman,
about-
they got the
we know.
Troutman.
Yeah, so when
Alvin Kamara, obviously.
I would argue that the reason people like Mike Evans, and Godwin are things is because of how much Winston threw.
Mhm.
I don't think Mike Evans would be considered a top 10 receiver if it wasn't for Jameis Winston and Tom Brady. You put him on Houston, or I'm trying to think of the team. Put him on the Bears instead of Allen
Right.
Robinson. I don't think Mike
Yeah.
Thomas is that person.
I agree.
I think Godwin is he's more talented than Evans, but so I think he would have been good regardless. But Evans to me, someone I've never drafted, someone I'll never draft, someone I've never ever had on any single fantasy
Yeah,
team.
he's boring.
Ever.
Well, but Sammy
he,
Watkins is better.
he
than Mike
produces.
Evans.
He has 10 straight years of 1,000 yards, whatever.
He's got 1,000 yards. He has multiple 10 touchdown seasons. So I do like the pick. I mean, this is for deep leagues.
It's a stretch.
And this
And I'm
is a
saying
home run fucking.
if
pick.
you miss your first guy, and then you miss on someone like Baker or specifically Burrow for me, if you miss on those guys and you need someone, you're like, shit, I don't want Lawrence, I don't want a rookie, I don't want Trey Lance. This is an established veteran that's done it before. 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. Check.
30 picks too, but I'm gonna always throw that in there.
Yeah.
To one last point to end this one that actually we should talk about is we're not wanting Jameis Winston as our only quarterback on our roster. Now, what you want to do when you wait is you want to have one safe, one upside. Jameis would be the upside pick, right? So if you go with a Matt Ryan, let's say you're playing a deep league or a super flex, right? Matt Ryan is safe, boring, not going to do much.
4,500 yards.
Yeah, 28 touchdowns, like
30,
18
right
points a
around
week.
30.
But he's boring. You want to pair him with an upside guy. You don't want to go Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan. They're the same player.
Yeah.
Right? Kirk Cousins is probably a better example because he's getting drafted higher than Matt Ryan after the Julio trade. But you want upside if you have boring.
Okay.
You don't want to go upside because if you take Trevor Lawrence and Jameis Winston, that could go bad.
Sure.
So that's what we're talking about. It's worth the grab because there's a world where Jameis Winston, like you said, could win MVP.
I think so.
And that's a testament to Sean Payton and the system.
I think so.
And, the pedigree that he has.
I think so. Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a reach, but I doubt you can even find odds on Winston MVP right now. But if you could,
Well,
at 100, 200 to 1,
shit, dude.
put $5 on it. Why
Yeah.
not? Why not? If you get it 200 to 1 at $5, $1,000. If the off chance that the Saints win 14 games,
Right.
They won the division twice in a row. They won 12
Yeah,
or 13
so they
games the
get
last 2
defense.
years with Breeze out. half the
Brady
games.
gets nicked up.
Breeze was out half the games the last 2 years,
Yeah.
and they
Teddy
still won the
did pretty
division
well.
twice.
Teddy did pretty well. Remember, they were 5-0 with Teddy
They won the
Bridgewater.
division twice without
So-
Breeze in the lineup most of the time, and when he was there, he was a shell of himself.
Those are our hot takes for quarterbacks. We'll
Yeah,
be back
yeah,
with
yeah.
RB, wide receiver, maybe a little tight end sprinkled in there.
Ooh.
Peace.
Eee.